Hi, guys. Welcome to the Impact Podcast. Difficulty round 2 here.
Hey,
I'll
no
figure it
worries.
out for sure. So this evening we have Mr. Ben Bach on with us. He is a life coach. I met him at UPW as a Tony Robbins event in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in November. We just happened to sit down next to each other and vibed immediately. Didn't know who he was from Adam, but there was a connection there, so I had to get him here on the podcast. So, Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you came from, and about the coaching, kind of how you got into that.
My name is Ben Bakayoko. I affectionately go as Ben Bach, as Jessica so well stated. So a little bit about my background. I'm originally from Ivory Coast. I immigrated to the U.S. when I was 2 years old. And for a very long time, I really didn't have that much confidence and self-esteem. And I pretty much got introduced to motivational speaking and coaching in college, right? Because as a kid, they used to tease me a lot. I was an African booty scratcher. My last name is a little bit awkward, so they used to call me Ben Baka Yo-Yo or Ben Baka Ho-Ho. And it was just a really horrible experience as a kid.
I shouldn't laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, I can laugh at it now, but back
got a ring to
it.
You said it got a ring to it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so it was interesting. So it was in college where I actually started to develop some self-confidence by listening to motivational speakers. We had a chapel on Tuesdays, and somebody would come speak, and on Thursday we had another speaker. And at that point, they really motivated me to really want to share and give back to the world. And 10 years ago, I was just like, yo, I'm gonna be a motivational speaker, which ultimately turned into coaching, right? And I could go more into my backstory and more specifically into what I do, but I'm a coach for coaches at this point.
Coach for coaches. I love that. So how does the framework of the business run? What does a coach teach a coach? Because is it more structuring how their programs are going to be and motivating them on a higher level?
So here's what my story looks like. So I said I wanted to be a motivational speaker 10 years ago, but I didn't have the confidence to do it. So I did what everybody else did. I got good grades in school, graduated, and then went into an MBA program. I got into Temple University, graduated, maybe 3.5 GPA, assuming that I was going to get a 6-figure job when I graduated, only to be working customer service at Subaru of America, which pissed me off. And then once I finally found out that I wanted to be a coach, it was just like, well, what do I coach on? Where do I start? Right. So I found this opportunity to get certified for coaching personality assessments and DISC assessments by Eric Thomas. So he certified me in that. So I was doing one-on-one sessions with people. Right. A lot of people I coached for free. And then some people, guess what, were willing to pay me $25 for an hour coaching session. Right. And with a year's worth of experience, I'll take it.
Right. It started with, I've seen some of your videos and it's like, why make $2,500 in an hour when you can make $45,000 in an hour? I'm sitting here like, how do I make $45,000 in an hour coaching somebody? I don't have the confidence. I'm not yet.
Right. There you go.
So how do you get to that point, to be confident enough? $25 an hour, that's like, heck yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I started at 25. And then I slowly got the confidence to charge $100 per hour. And at the top of this year, I was just like, yo, I want to earn my first 6 figures as a coach. And I got introduced to somebody who was actually marketing coaching services or whatever. And he told me that, hey, instead of coaching people one-on-one, what you can actually do is create an actual coaching program where it's just like, yo, you literally take everybody through the same program and you offer it for $3,000 instead of you coaching everybody one-on-one. Because at some point, he said, your schedule is going to get stuck like Chuck. Right. So it's just
I can imagine that.
Exactly, because you want to help everybody, but the most efficient way to help everybody is to literally create a program and you take them through a simple process And people, you asked about why somebody would pay $3,000 or $10,000 for coaching services, is because people don't pay for coaching for your information.
Right.
They pay for coaching for a result. So if you say, hey, I'll charge you $3,000 or $5,000 to transform your marriage so you don't have to get a divorce, what difference does that make in a person's life? So they're paying you for the ultimate outcome and what that outcome is worth to them. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
How do you come up with the price though? You know, because it's like, yeah, you could charge 3,000. You're like, you know, and for us, for like real estate, there's a lot of courses. You know, you spend 10 grand or whatever the price is, but you would get tenfold that. So it's a no-brainer type thing, just like you said, because it's really peanuts. Because once you take that and get that advice, it'll turn into so much more. How do you come up with the price before that? You know.
So again, like kind of what you said. Price is what people pay, value is what they get. So Jessica kind of hinting like 25 sounds good. $45, that's way out of my mind. Like that's way out of my league. So you come up with the price when you get very clear on the value you're delivering to people. And I've learned from Sean Callaghy. He's like this founder of Unblinded. And what he said is, one, integrity-based selling or influence is always knowing that, hey, whenever there's a transaction, you have the intent to 10x the amount of value you want to give to the person. So if you want to earn $10,000 for coaching, how can you produce $100K worth of value? So when you say 10,000, it's a no-brainer. Like it's a deal because everybody wants a deal, right? So it's just
everybody wants the deal, especially if you're gonna pay me 10,000 and you're gonna get, pay me 10,000, you're gonna get $100,000 in reward. My big question with that is like, how can, and this is my skeptical side, like how can you promise, you know, hey Jessica, if I become your coach and you pay me $10,000 to coach you, like what guarantee is it that I'm gonna get that $100,000 reward from it? So that's my skepticism. Like, how do you navigate people that have that mindset?
So for one, I don't guarantee it. I don't navigate people that have that mindset. I'm not God.
Right. Yeah.
For one, right? But I work with people who have the mindset that, hey, I want to earn 6 figures in business, right? And I've tried a lot of things so far that just simply didn't work. I tried coaching one-on-one, it doesn't work. I tried posting content on social media, nobody wants to talk to me. I'm scared to raise my prices. I'm charging $100 a session right now, and I kind of want to start charging $150 or something like that, or even possibly $5,000. But I'm scared if I tell this existing client that I want to increase my prices, they're going to leave me and I'm not going to be able to eat. That's some emotional pain.
Yeah.
Right. So not only because they have that low self-esteem and that self-confidence, it's just like, yo, you're burnt out, you're frustrated, and you're unhappy. You want to coach full time, but you're trying to manage a traditional job and coaching. Right. You're working endless hours on both sides. No financial stability. The clients that you do have, because you're so cheap, they don't value you. They don't respect you or your time. And they're asking for so much. And I'm like, hey, here's a better way. Instead of having to work with 10 clients to earn X amount of dollars, you could work with one client, give them a specific result, and they respect you and value your time a whole lot better. And because they paid you so much, they're going to be more invested in the program and more committed to the outcome and the result.
And that's what it comes down to, you know, people, if you give it, you know, and our, you know, because Jess and Team Go as well, like she gives certain things away for free because you're with her, you're partnered with her. But when that happens, people don't take value in that, and they don't follow it because it was for free. So if you charge $10,000 for something, that's honestly the biggest point of charging so much, is so people do it, they take it serious because they have some skin in the game. And if you just give it away for free, they're going to think, okay, 1, it doesn't work, or 2, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and then 3, you know, I'll do it if I have a chance or if I get around to it. But if you pay a lot of money for it, you have the respect, the value, and you're going to make sure, hey, I spent $10,000, I'm going to get my money's worth out of this. So there's that aspect as well.
Exactly. There it is. Yeah, I love it.
All So I want to ask you, Ben, what are some of the goals you have coming up for 2022?
Ooh.
Ones that excite you and scare you.
All right. Hey, I'm wow. So just so you guys know, like I was that guy last year.
Oh, that guy. All right. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah. Just so your audience knows, because I don't know who your audience is, and when you
Right.
throw wild goals out there, like people sometimes it's just like I don't know. Like Oprah says it best. You're just like people want a miracle, but they don't want to believe in miracles. Right, so we want a miracle to happen in our life, but we don't want to believe in miracles. So
One way they believe in it when you do it.
Exactly. So last year around this time, I remember getting on a coaching call with somebody that is my coach now, and he was just like, "Yo, Ben, how much money you want to make this year?" And I was just like, "Yo, I don't know, maybe an extra $1,000." And he was just like, "That's all you want? Like you just want an extra $1,000 a month?" I was just like, "Yeah." And then he was just like, "That's it, one." And you're just like, "Where do you survive off an extra $1,000? I don't know how much your full-time job pays you, but how do you survive off that? Like, where do you live?" And in my mind, I'm like, "Where do you live? Because I'm doing fine with my paycheck and this extra $1,000." And he was completely shocked. And then I started thinking to myself, like, "Yo, people out here getting it. Like, why am I satisfied with a little bit?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
An extra $1,000.
An extra.
What did that goal change to?
Oh, that goal changed to I want to make 6 figures.
There you go.
This year, 120,000. It went from extra $1,000 to 6 figures to $120,000, which was wild for me at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself when I was having that conversation with people, with him, I always tell people, "Hey, don't go after what you know you can do. Don't even go after what you think you can do. Set a goal for what you actually want." And I was settling. I didn't think I could make the 6 figures, so I never set the goal for it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could earn an extra $1,000, but I really didn't believe it, so I wasn't committed to it. I was satisfied with my extra $100 per client, and hopefully I had like 2 clients, 4 sessions a month, and I hit my 1,000. But after that, something shifted with me, and I was just like, "Bet I'm gonna earn 120,000." Do you know I did 6 figures in 5 months, and then 150K in sales in that 6 months, like half the year. And then it completely blew my mind, right? And not only that, I'm just like, I did that in half the time.
Right.
So that was a paradigm shift for me. So this year, when I quit my job last year, what I told myself was, "Hey, I want to earn $1 million." I quit in April. And I did my annual salary in a month. That was $45K. That's how much Subaru was paying me per year until I just quit. So what I told myself when I actually quit my job, because I love coaching so much and I didn't want people to struggle, like they're overworked, overwhelmed, and underpaid, and they have an advanced degree, like that's pain, right? So I told myself I want to help 100 coaches earn their first 6 figures in business, right? I want to earn $1 million. And this goal is by April. So in order for me to hit that goal, I need like 900K in the first quarter. And it's still my goal.
You're going to get it.
I'm going to get it. Yeah, it's still my goal. I'm just like, yo, and everything that I've learned, everybody I've been exposed to, I'm like, yo, I'm going to get it, right? And not only am I going to get mine, but I'm going to help enough people get theirs as well.
That's what it's all about.
What it's all about.
Yeah.
Helping other people get where they need to go, and you'll get where you need to go.
Absolutely.
2022, baby. Just helping other people.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the actual question. So earn $1 million. What are your other goals for 2022?
So earning $1 million, helping 100 coaches earn their first 6 figures in business, growing my email list to 20K. I'm already a part of Tony's Platinum Partnership. Russell Brunson is my guy as well, so I want to join his coaching program and his inner circle as well. So those are a few of my goals as it relates to business. Do you guys want to know like personal goals and stuff like that as well?
Sure, yeah. Shoot it at us. Let the world know. You put them out there. That means this is out there for the world to see forever. So you might as well say them, speak them into existence.
Yeah, so some of the other goals that I have is so last year, what was huge for me, I love telling stories just to give contrast, you know.
I love
So
it.
just,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Bring it together. Yeah.
What was so cool about quitting my job and coaching full time up until that point, one, like I've always loved Tony Robbins, but I was that guy. Jessica, you know, he has this platinum partnership program, and it's just like, it's a hefty investment, one, but plus you got to take away time in order to go to the programs, which is like 7 or 14 days. You got to pay for hotels on top of that, and then what's it called? You gotta pay for the flight and the program. And I was just like, I can't do that. Like, how do these people do that? I have a job. There's no way that I can make time for all of this and pay for all of that. So that was my mindset before. And luckily this year I was able to do that, make that investment and travel all the time. So in addition to being able to go to all of those events by Tony, some events by Russell Brunson, Eric Thomas is my guy as well, Bob Proctor, I want to go to all of those events. I want to be able to take my family with me to those events as well. And after those events, being able to take like a 2 or 3 day vacation with them as well. So I want to be able to take a vacation, a mini vacation with my family each month. And then even if we don't go away because I got kids and they're in school, we can at least do a like an in-city vacation, you know, for the weekend, or at like a hotel.
Staycation.
I couldn't think of the name, a staycation. Yeah. So each month we have something going on for at least 3 to 6 days. So that's something really cool for family.
I love that. Jess and I did that when we went to Dallas. We stayed an extra day or two after, because it's just important. These events are great, you know, for obvious reasons, but it's just nice to, when you get out of the, you know, the area, to also have to relax. You know, I prefer to do it. You can do both, but I prefer to do it after the event, because you got so much going on, so much knowledge you just learn. It's just like, it's just nice. Yeah, it's just nice to take it all in and really visualize it.
Yeah, I agree.
And just, it's fantastic to, and then you have your me time or your family time.
Yeah.
I don't have a wife or kids or anything like that, but but I can give me time afterwards and enjoy it. So that's very cool. I'm a big ET guy. Okay. Yeah, because I live right by Detroit, an hour away from Detroit. So he really hits home with me. Plus when he gets yelling and stuff like that, it's like, you're not human if it doesn't get you going, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a big ET guy. How did you go about meeting him? Did you just reach out to him, or you bumped into, go to one of his seminars, or how'd that go about?
Oh man, how my relationship with E has evolved. So I've been following E. E was the.
Okay, let's pause for just a second. Who is this person?
He's an alien. No, I'm kidding. I'll explain who he is in like very, very shortly. There's a lot that goes into it, obviously, but like very shortly. He's from Detroit. He had a rough upbringing. He didn't have his dad in his life, and he ended up rebelling against his mom, who was tough on him for a reason. That came full circle. He talks about all the time, but he ended up being homeless, and then he ended up going from homeless. This is why I love him so much. One, because he's from where I'm from, and two, he literally went from the bottom to the top. That, like, most people say, oh, I started from the bottom, and a lot of people did start from bad areas and stuff like that, but he literally was homeless. You know, he always says eating out of trash cans. He always brings that up. Homeless, eating out of trash cans. And then now he's a doctor, and he's one of the highest paid motivational speakers in the entire world.
What?
You know, and he has a learning disability on top of it, which that hits home with me too, because I have a learning disability as well. And he just like, doesn't matter. He's like, he always says, doesn't matter if it took you 12 years or it took me, or took me 12 years or it took you 3 years to get that degree. We still got it. It's got no dates on the degree, he always says. He yells a lot, but it's just so passionate. I mean, he's the type of person, he walks in a room and he speaks and you listen, period. I don't care who you are. So that's just kind of like a quick rundown. That was actually pretty good.
Thank you so much for
that's a quick rundown who he is.
Intelligent ET people over here. I was like,
Eric Thomas.
Eric
Thomas was like ET. Yeah.
All right.
But anyway,
Ben, sorry.
Ben. Yeah, how did you go about meeting Eric, and how's your relationship today?
Yeah, so it was really cool. Wow. So of course, the first time I met E was in college. He came to my school for a presentation.
No way.
Yeah, I was a part of a
so cool.
And he came twice. And what's so cool, I had the opportunity to share this with him like a month ago. my first meeting with him outside of seeing him speak, like my mentor actually had to go pick him up from the airport. He was a little late for the speaking engagement. So I was in Denmark, South Carolina. We had to drive to like Columbia, South Carolina, where the airport was. He was a little late, and he was late. So he just got in the car. He told my mentor, he's just like, yo, you go in the passenger side. Let me take the wheel and let's speed so we could hurry up and get to the meeting. So he was driving and just dropping gems and stuff like that. So it was a really cool experience to see him there. And I've been following him ever since. And then my first experience with him outside of seeing him on YouTube and at that presentation was actually going to his event. His first conference ever. It was in Hartford, Connecticut. And I was from Philly. I had just graduated. I'm just like, yo, ET's having this conference. I have to be there. And guess what? He was doing one-on-one coaching sessions at that event for like $500, dude. And he was already like one of the best motivational speakers in the world. I was just like, I want that one-on-one session.
That's a skill, yeah.
But I didn't have the money. I asked my dad to do it, but he didn't understand the value of getting coached by one of the best motivational speakers in the world at the time. So it took him a little time to say yes. And by the time he said yes, it was sold out. I was like, fuck. But that was $500. Fast forward, I joined his Breathe University community. And then after that, when I was at a very low spot in network marketing, what's it called? Like I was killing. I like this. Jim Rome always used to say, people say just like, yo, I'm gonna succeed even if it kills me. And that's the mindset that I had brought into network marketing. Like, I'm gonna be successful even if it kills me. I mean, I'm gonna make as many calls as I want to have to make. I remember I was an introvert. I didn't know how to speak to people. I don't care. I'm a prospect. I got to a point where I was getting 20 names and numbers a day. It was cold. I even missed my son's birth to go to a conference for this network marketing thing, and I didn't really make any money from that business. So I was, look at Jessica, like, it was that bad. It was that bad, Jessica.
Like, oh,
it was that bad.
Gut wrenching. And that's another thing, like, you talk so much about like building and coaching and doing all those things. And I'm sure you coach now. Your time, your private time, and your family is number one, because you never get that back. Period.
Exactly. Yeah.
My husband walked in today and I was like, you were my number one priority. And he looked at me like I had lost my mind. And I was like, you are the only one that really matters in the grand scheme of all the other beautiful, amazing things I have going on in my life. Yeah. You're my solid. Your children are your solid, like family first.
I didn't get that at the time. Right. So I was really going through it. So my marriage, of course, with that mindset was deteriorating and I was killing myself. And at that point, I'm just like, I've had it. He was doing a conference here in Philly and I went. It was called the Verified Conference. And at that point, he introduced me to Extreme Execution. So I kind of joined his coaching community. And at the time, I still wanted to be a speaker. He was just like, yo, I don't know if I could teach you to speak like me and get paid how I do as a speaker, but I could definitely teach you how to coach. You could do it from your home. And at that point, I was just like, boom, bet. So I made a commitment to go to all of his conferences. Every now and then, every quarter, he was doing like a mastermind in Detroit. And this year, or last year, I remember him offering another coaching session. Remember the first coaching session was $500? This time it was $5,000 for 30 minutes of his time. And I was just like,
that's wild.
One coming back to our first one, I'm just like, ET, one is doing, look, he could charge $70,000 for a speaking engagement. I know this, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, one, he's doing one-on-one. He never does that. I know, because I remember like 10 years ago he did that. He hasn't done it yet. So 5,000 is actually a deal, but on a monthly basis, I'm only bringing in $2,500. That's actually 2 months of work for 30 minutes. What the hell is he going to teach me?
That's actually.
Did you do it though? Please tell me you did it.
I did it. I did.
Okay.
You know what questions you asked him? Because I would be like rapid fire, bro. If I'm spending $5,000 for 30 minutes, it would literally be boom, 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 boom. To maximize it.
Oh, no doubt. So, man, I spent 2 months preparing for that call.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Don't walk in and be like, oh man, I'm just starstruck. I don't know what to ask you. Like, what a waste.
Fix me.
So Tony has a program called Time of Your Life or whatever. And I talked to E. I was on a coaching session with him on Sunday. In December of So 2020, last year was 21. In December of 2022, he was just like, yo, what gift are you going to give yourself this year, essentially? And for me in 2020, I'm just like, yo, yeah, I made money coaching. That was end of the year with about $10,000 as a coach. I learned the disc assessment. I'm a little bit more confident. I got a few certifications. I'm just that good. But I had high highs and low lows. Where it's just like there's this period of time where I was extremely excited and I was hauling ASS towards my goal, and then I hit a brick wall and I get stressed out, burnt out, and then I stop, and then I feel depressed and lonely. And when I get tired of feeling that, I start back up again. I'm just like, I'm tired of those high highs and low lows. Can I be even kill? Can it just be slightly progressing forward? And I'm just like, the problem was I never got clear on what I want. I never built a plan for the year. So in January, I said, I'm going to stop everything that I'm doing. I took like a week off of work and I said, I'm actually going to plan the entire year out in advance. I thought I was going to be able to do it in 3 weeks, but it took 2 months to do it. And luckily at the end of that, it was my meeting with E. And so I just came to E straight up. It's just like, yo, E, I want to make $120,000 this year. This was my plan to make it. At the time, I still wanted to do one-on-one coaching. I think I needed like 500 clients to do it or something like that. I wanted to charge like $500 or $1,000 an hour. That's the other thing that don't make sense. In order to make that much money, you got to be charging people $500 or $1,000 an hour. Not everybody has that. Everybody does have $5,000 that they can pay you, or $10,000 over an extended period of time in small installments. But not everybody is willing to drop $1,000. I'm not E, or you're not E. So right off the bat, and they don't even know you, and you can't even tell them what they're going to get after working with you for an extended period of time. So E really just broke down. One, he was just like, yo, you can do it. I've been watching you over the past 2 years. And he gave me a belief that I didn't have in myself. And I told him I want to make 120. He was just like, that's it?
Yeah, I knew he was going to say that.
He was like, that's it?
Why not more?
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, you think I could do more? And I was just like, sure. I'm going to set a stretch goal for 250 or something like that. And it's been off to the races from there. But here's the important part. I ended up only having to pay him $3,000 for the coaching because I was already in one of his coaching programs, but I didn't even want to show up to the coaching session.
Why?
I was just like, yo, I'm not good enough. I can't make this. Like, what he is going to think of me? I shouldn't do that. Like, I was literally shook. Like, 5 minutes before the question, I was just like, I'm not going to show up. On the time of the session, E calls me and just like, yo, let's go 15 minutes late. I was like, yes, because I was literally shook. It's like that fear of success, that fear of being judged. I'm just like, yo, I'm not good enough. Even though I already paid the money. Like, yo, we self-sabotage for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so
every
happy.
Day.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. And that's so true. Like, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Why would you be successful to get, or why would you be afraid to get what you want? It's kind of hard to explain, to be honest with you. But yeah. I guess it does come down to you're not worthy, or you talk yourself out of it, or I'm famous for, maybe one day, like maybe one day I'll make that 120, like just to your reference or whatever. Maybe one day I'll make the 120, but not this year. You know what I'm saying? And then so you talk yourself out of it, and you just kind of go down that spiral. And like you said, like the highs are the highs and the lows and the low. You learn in the lows though, Yeah. And it's going to happen. You just try not to go as low, You're going to come up and down. The way to success isn't like, just straight up like that. It's this all over the place, going back, forth, and stuff like that. I'm big into David Goggins as well. And he always talks about the setback. Like, he still gets setbacks. And, like, he looks forward to it because, like,
that's the shit.
Goggins comes out and he just starts going harder, because that's really when you learn, is when you're going through the trenches, and you find, oh, wow, look at that.
And guess who it's signed by?
Tony
Robbins?
Yeah.
Dang. Who was on the other side?
So
it just says live with passion on the other side. Tony's.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Since we've talked about Tony a little bit here and there and dabbled, what kind of impact has Tony had on your life and getting into that platinum membership? For those that don't know, the platinum membership, I'm not condoning anyone to go buy this. We're not affiliated with Tony Robbins' program, but it is around $85,000 to buy into the membership. And then you get access to multiple trainings, tickets to all the events. You get secondary people that can come to the events. How has that really impacted you?
Yeah. Ryan, you was talking about David Goggins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were kind of talking about the mindset and stuff, right?
Yep.
Especially when things aren't going your way. This misconception, and this is why I made the comment when Jessica was talking about somebody looking for guarantees, right?
Yeah.
So remember, I had been following Tony for about 4 years, maybe 5. And I was just YouTubing and stuff. And I even got certified to teach some of his stuff through his Robbins Madonna's coaching program and stuff. Yeah, which was good. That was good information. And each time I would go to an event, Jessica, you may resonate with this, but they would do the pitch for platinum and they'll show all the wonderful trips. I like, it'd be nice to travel to India. It'd be nice.
Go to beautiful places.
Yeah, all those beautiful places. But like my first event, like I was in the nosebleeds. And then one year I was finally able to afford VIP. I'm just like, yo, how much do you got to pay to be down there? And I had never asked about how much it cost because I had always made the assumption that I couldn't afford it. One, how much it actually cost, and I didn't know how much it cost, but I just knew I couldn't afford it. Like this ticket itself was a lot to get into the nosebleeds, so I can't imagine what that would cost. Two, like I have a full-time job. Like I have like 20 vacation days a year. Like all of those events is like 40 days I'm gonna have to take off or something like that. So I can't do that. And it's just like I'm just not like those people. Like they are superhuman and they're wealthy, and like I couldn't fit in that group. So that was some of my beliefs. But something shifted for me last year, where in January I was doing his life mastery program, and I was just like, I had grown enough to be like, all right, maybe I can't afford this, but at least let me find out how much it actually.
Okay.
You know,
yeah, like, I went and asked. I needed to know. I was like, I walked up there. I was like, how much is this? Because maybe I can't afford it. And then I was like, maybe next year.
Yeah. So I go into the little room where everybody that's interested in doing it are in, and I'm just like, all right, so how much? So how much does it cost? And like you said, maybe about 84 plus some of the exclusive trips, it comes up to well over 100,000. And I'm just like, all right, so right now my annual salary is 45K. And that's twice as much as I earn in a year. Like, how do you expect me to be able to pay for that? Scotty, I was talking to Scott Humphrey. He was just like, I don't. Maybe you need to go with one of those upper programs. This might not be a good fit for you. And at that moment, I thought immediately, fuck you, Scotty. I want this. I need this because proximity is power. I need that peer group. I've consumed enough of Tony's information to know it's just like, one, total immersion, high level coaching, space repetition. I know that is the formula. So I'm going to figure this out. So fuck you. And I committed to myself that by August, I would figure it out. And that's when the wheels started turning to me. And it's just like, I could clearly see, like, I wanted more time with my family. I wanted to work on my health a little bit more. I wanted to spend more time with God. And I can clearly see how continue to work my full-time job wasn't going to make that happen. So I knew I was quitting that. And I can see charging $100 per session wasn't going to get me the money that I need to pay for platinum. And that's when I started coaching session with ET, hired another coach. And so by August, I accumulated enough money to be able to pay for platinum at Business Mastery. And to come back to David Goggins, that's when I got this gladiator helmet. It was at his Business Mastery event. He had us understand that in business, you got to understand, one, it's a contact sport. 5% of businesses fail in like the first 5 years. I mean, a huge percentage of businesses fail in there.
I would say a lot more than 5%.
Yeah, I think it's 95 or something like that. Yeah, I think it's like 95 in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's not even that they're profitable, right? And then
they're just still open.
Yeah, and he said like 1% ever make it to like 1 million or something like that. And then to think of like 10 million or 100 million, you know, like the percentages are even smaller. He's just like, yo, you got to understand when going into business, one is 80% psychology, 20% the mechanics, but understand it's your mindset that controls everything. So you go into business knowing you can fail or everybody else is failing, but not you. So he said, you got to be a gladiator.
True.
And I embraced that identity. I just like, yo, everybody else is going to fail. There's hell going all around me. But it's just like, no matter what the circumstance, he told me winter is our season. When things go hell, go to shit in the handbaskets, that's when we actually step up, because we add massive value, and no matter what the circumstance, we can make the most out of it and find a way to victory. And I had some really big challenges, some moments that I really wanted to quit, but because of Tony, Bob Proctor, ET, and some of my other coaches, I'm just like, I can't quit now. I got to keep going. And it's just like, I look back on it, like, what's it called? Steve Jobs would say, it's just like, yo, you can never connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So there were so many dots that weren't connecting moving forward, but I just had the heart, the desire, and the will to move forward so I could serve my clients, my family, my wife, and the world at a higher level. And I threw a Hail Mary and the universe caught it.
I love it.
I love that.
That's
Man,
so
you're
awesome.
dropping some bombs right there. I like it.
So were you able to make it to Date with Destiny?
I did make it to Date with Destiny.
How was Date with Destiny?
Okay.
Did you have your date with your destiny, sir?
So that was my second date with Destiny. The first time was a little bit after I started my coaching business, and I was really having a tough time with my marriage. And after that first day with Destiny, that completely transformed my marriage. Like, we've literally been on the up and up. And you kind of asked about the experience with Platinum. It's just like each event is just like, say this is your ceiling, this is what you think is impossible. You reach that 30 days later, and by the next event, that's your floor. That's the best analogy I could use for Platinum. We're just like, he's just like,
it gave me chills.
Yeah. Whether it's in your relationship, your finances, or your business, because you go to the event, it's totally immersed. Like, they average like 50 hours. So you're learning everything you need to do. And I've learned from Tony how to really take notes. So it's just like, after each event, I actually take like 3 or 4 days to really review everything that I've learned and develop an action plan for how I want to spend the next 30 days. So I got a to-do list of like 20, 30 things, really prioritizing the order that I want to execute. And by the next event, I've done that stuff. And it's just like, yay, victory. And then I do run into a brick wall. I do have moments of self-doubt. And by the next event, I'm charged. I go there. He charges me up, new ceiling, new goal, action items. And then the next event, same thing over and over. And then, like you said, it's the peer group where you got people. It's really easy to take risks and do stuff that's seemingly impossible when you're around people that take risks and do the impossible.
Yep.
Makes sense.
It makes freaking perfect sense, because I purposely surrounded myself with those type of people. I got a quote right here from Curtis Johnson, actually. And he says, get in rooms with people that you want to be like, because to stay in the room, you got to produce so you feel comfortable to stay in the room.
Exactly.
And I was like, dude, that's so true. You want to be at the bottom. If you're at the top, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying, like, Tony, for me, so I actually took my mom with me, and I know Ben was able to meet her. I kind of drug her to this event, and we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. It was my first Tony Robbins event, and actually Gogo Bethke, who is one of our organizers of our organization that we're part of with EXP, it was her 7th event. And she said something very similar to you. Every time she goes, she learns something new about herself to level up her career, her life, her marriage. And it's always, the platform always goes up, but you're going back down because you are constantly growing.
Yeah.
We sat next to a gentleman, and I had, you talk to people, you go through those exercises, you're like loving and talking, and Ben, I don't want to freak anybody out, but you're very connected with the people around you. And we never really talked business until the last day. We went to lunch, and this gentleman actually takes $1 million businesses, buys them, flips them. And I would have never known, the most humble person you ever met. And the next thing I know, he comes back with his little platinum band on, and I'm like, oh, okay, over here. You just don't know who you're gonna meet. And proximity is power. And not that in that situation it was any power to me, but knowing that just a common person can be that nice, and someone who's worth that much money can be so kind and so humble and be able to give me advice on my life and my business, you become even playing field no matter where you are in your life and how much money you have or you've made, when you go to an event like that, it's life-changing for sure.
Yeah.
It's encouraging.
Ryan, we got to get you over to one next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I have seen Tony Robbins, though, you know. I felt the energy, so I know what's up. I know it's way different being at the whole event because we only had him for like, I think it was like 6 or 7 hours in Dallas.
Yeah,
which I was like
very
dialed in. Like I didn't use the restroom or nothing. I didn't leave, you know, and it was just easy. I didn't want it. Everybody talked about how he goes way over. There's so many stories of like when he'll say he'll be there for like 6 hours, he'll go like 12 hours. He actually went like the actual time. I was kind of let down. I wasn't. I don't want to say disappointed because he killed it, but it was his first event back since COVID.
Okay.
In live events. So that part was kind of cool too. He kind of harped on that, but it was really cool seeing him in person because I've been watching him on, you know, at social media, and he's even but cameoed, if you will, in some movies as well. So like it was kind of cool to see him. I'm big into movies. Then he's got the books and stuff like that too. But it was cool to see him in person, and he really is like a larger than life type person, you know. And I'm glad I got to see him too, because one of the main reasons, aside from the obvious ones, of course, is he's getting older, you know, and he's not getting any younger. And I really wanted to just see him in person before, you know, he's unable to do it anymore, just because I know he's had surgery on his voice and stuff like that too as well. So it was really cool to be there, be in the room.
Poisoning.
Because well, he can say all you want, and a lot of the stuff, you know, people, this is what critics come after, like, oh, this is the same thing type thing, but it's really about being in the room with the like-minded people, like you just got done saying, Des, like the people right next to you, you see and you're doing exercises with, and you like become best friends, you know. And it's because we're like-minded people, and you feel the energy, and you're both on the same path. You're trying to improve, and you're not afraid or insecure of someone about saying your dreams, you know, and your desires with these people, because they're on the same page. They'll just encourage you. And I'm sure there's so many people that end up getting freaking lifelong friends and stuff out of those things, because it's just, and it's not even just during the conference. It's in the hallways, at the bar, you know, you're meeting
in the bathroom
like that.
It happens.
Jessica meets everyone in the restroom, I guess.
I'm just saying, because you're in line forever, like 20, 30 minutes with one person, and then you start talking. The next thing you know, like, oh, this person does this in business. Oh, I do this. And then you just start chit-chatting back and forth, and you exchange numbers, and then Facebook, Instagram, and all of a sudden you have a friend for life.
No doubt.
Next thing you know, you're on a podcast with them. You know, you just never know.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
That's
all right. So I have 2 questions.
Let's go.
I'm going to go ahead and get them in because we're just dialing away. Why are clear goals important for success?
Why are clear goals important for success? All right. So I actually did a training this past week, and I asked people what were their top few goals for this year. And I used to be this way too, and I realized, and I learned this from Tony. He says he has something called RPM, where you want to know a specific result, you want to know why you want the result, and then afterward you want to develop a max action plan, right? And the reason why goals are so important is because Zig Ziglar used to say, it's just like, yo, if you want to hit a target, you need to know what the target is. Like trying to accomplish a goal or trying to accomplish something, not being clear on what it is like being blindfolded trying to shoot at arc. Like it's not going to work. I don't care how good at you are at archery, so it's really not going to work. And what I found with myself and most people, especially the ones that I coach, you set a goal is I want to lose weight. Tony's always just like, yo, you want to lose weight. You just lost the same 20 pounds and gained them back. You keep losing the same 20 pounds. I want to make more money. You get $1 more. And when you're not clear and specific about the goal, the worst thing that happens, you guys are familiar with the Pareto principle, right?
No.
Okay. What a Pareto principle essentially says is just like it's the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your results. So let's say you had 10 things to do. I don't care if you want to grow $100,000 business, $1 million business, or you want to crush it in real estate, or you want to grow your podcast. Say there's 10 things you need to do to be really effective at podcasting, right? For real, all you need to do is focus on the top 2 leveraging activities, and that account for 80% of your results. But when we aren't clear on what the outcomes is, we get stuck in the weeds and we start doing those things that are insignificant, the 8 things that only actually account for 20% of the results. And that's what happens when we don't have clarity on the outcome, because you don't have to do all 10 to get the results. You might only have to do 1. But you don't know unless you're clear on what the objective is. And the second reason why setting goals the right way is so important is because if you don't have a why behind it, we deal with those inner conflicts. Like, yo, I want to make money, but I don't want to fail. Well, what do you really want? Because in order, I want to be successful, but I don't want to fail. In order to be successful, you have to fail. So you have to have a strong reason, or else you're going to be dealing with those inner conflicts, that inner battle. But I want to, but I can't. I must, but I won't. So unless you're very clear on the outcome and why, you're going to constantly deal with those inner battles, and you're going to be going after the wrong target. Hopefully that made sense.
No, that was awesome. Fantastic. That was super lovely.
Good to me, because I've just been always on the mentality, and it sounds like it's the perfect mentality, but the problem is when you're actually doing it, like you just said, I never want to fail. I can't fail. I'm not a failure. I'm a winner. I'm a winner, not a loser. Win, 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 win. No matter what, I can't fail. And you build up this pride, and it's to get where you want to go. You're like you said, you're going to have to fail. And when you're in denial, it just holds you back. I was just talking to one of my partners last week, actually, at our meeting, and he was saying, he's like, dude, you need to be honest with yourself and just say it's okay to fail. And I just couldn't lay my pride down to admit, like, dude, you just freaking failed. You just blew it. I'm always saying, like, I don't fail, I learn. I can't call it failure, because it just, like I said, I'm always just like, I'm a winner's mindset, which is great, and you need that. But it's so important to be able to accept it and then make sure you learn from it. Don't just, okay, I suck, I failed, I should do something else different or whatever. It's like, no, make sure you learn from it so you don't do it again. And the best thing to do is learn from other people's mistakes, So that's always been my mentality, but it was just so hit home for me to be able to acknowledge it and be like, dude, you freaking failed, accept it. It's okay to fail. Everybody does, and everybody just shows their highlights, online. You fail, it's okay, but you're not going to be able to get where you want to win. You're going to need to fail to get to that one big win. So that really hits home with me. So well said.
And the biggest difference I found with people that are really winning big, when they have conversations, they actually enjoy talking about their failures more than their wins.
Right, because it shows how far they've come, It's like, man, I started from here and stuff like that. And I'm proud of, where I came from and stuff like that. It's really in a special spot for me. So, like, that's something I'll always take with me. And hopefully encourage other people too once I get where I want to go. I mean, shoot, even on the come up right now, people are always watching. It's like you might not be doing it for them or whatnot, but they're following you, they're following your story, and I have people reach out to me and say I'm encouraging them too. And it's just at first it was like, how? I'm nowhere near where I should be encouraging you, But they're just like, you know what though, you're going for it, you're doing it, and that's more than most people
want to be, but you are doing it. Some people don't even have the courage.
I'm in the thick of it right now, but I'm not backing down.
Yeah, let's go.
I feel that 100%. I told my husband the other day, I was like, I feel like I'm just treading water. Like, I started a real estate business not even a year ago. April will be a year, and I started a podcast, and I'm sitting here like, oh my goodness. Like, I feel like I'm in the ocean, just doggy paddling, like trying to make it there, but I'm doing it. I did it. Like, I am actively every day digging out, like trying to get there. And that's more than most people ever dream. I'm thankful.
Are you open to me making a comment before you ask your next question? Because what you
just
absolutely. You go ahead. You analyze me. I'm already going to get my disc test with you. We got to get all your information. I need a coaching session. Like, I coach the coach. Go ahead.
No, what you said just now is so powerful that I remember Tiffany Montgomery. She shared this with me maybe 3 years ago at an ET conference. She was just like, yo, business is risky. That's one. And if business wasn't risky, everybody would leave their jobs and enter this guaranteed field called entrepreneurship where they can get everything they want with no risk. And she's like, that doesn't exist. Like, this is risky, right?
Yep.
So I got that. So one of the most difficult things that I had to learn this year, and I really got it from Bob Proctor, but what it really was is getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Bob says the common denominator of success is forming the habit of doing things failures don't like to do. He said it's doing things that failures don't like to do. So he's like, the question is, what don't failures like to do? Great question, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things. I would assume it depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah, and so what he boiled it down to, failures don't like doing what's uncomfortable. He's like, yo, they require pleasing. They're more attached to pleasing methods than desired results. So if you're like, business is sales and marketing, so failures don't like to talk to people that they don't know for sure aren't interested in their services because they don't want to be rejected. What human wants to feel rejected? So yeah, I said I made 6 figures. I did some of the numbers. Like, I talked to 90 people over the past 9 months or whatever on these consultations calls, and like 90, actually 100 people in the last 6 months. 90 said no. That was affecting my self-esteem. Am I charging too much? Am I not good enough? Right? Most people don't want to do stuff that they don't know. We have this fear of uncertainty. So if we don't know the exact next step, we actually move backwards. Like, we shy away from it because it's uncertain, it's difficult, and it's new. So what you just shared with me, Jessica, is that you formed the habit of doing things although you didn't know how the outcome would do. I didn't know how this podcast would work, but I wanted to do it so bad that I did it. I wanted to be in real estate. I didn't know if I was going to be successful. There was a risk that I could fail, but I did it anyway because I had a desire to do it. And what I've learned in business this year is there's so much uncertainty, and a lot of times we look for certainty and guarantees in the outside world. And what I've developed is that certainty internally. Like, yo, no matter what comes my way, I'm a conqueror, I'm a gladiator, and I'm going to figure it out. So now I'm not attached to a person, a place, a company, organization, or product. I'm attached to myself, my mission, my calling, and my purpose. So the peace comes from inside. It's not something external.
Love that. Yeah. Wake up every day and just keep going. Be a warrior. You know, I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I also want to add too that I'm on the mindset of now I am of every time you get a failure, you want to be excited about it because every no gets you closer to the next yes. So that just kind of ties into what you're saying. Like, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And honestly, I was talking to, again, one of my partners, and he was saying that like, for me, it's phone calls, certain phone calls, I should say, not just phone calls in general. Certain, those tough, everybody knows those tough phone calls. You're like, man, I know I could grow the most potentially with this, but it's going to be tough. They could hang up on me. They could tell me something. They could ask me a question I don't know. You just start, all these thoughts are going through your head. It's like freaking rocket science, in your head. You're like, oh man, this is just going to be the worst thing ever. But guess what? No matter how, this would hit home with me. He's like, no matter how that phone call goes, if they hang up on you or whatever, don't you feel better after the phone call? It's like you got that adrenaline rush. You're like, man, you know what? At least I tried. And you can learn from it. Yeah, at least I tried and I made an effort. And a lot of times if it was really bad, you can either learn from it or at the very least pat yourself on the back and take that momentum and just keep going, Yeah, the momentum's everything. You just got to keep going. On to the next one. That's it, and it's like even these pros. I was listening to Ricky Caruth, one of his YouTube videos, and he was saying he's been doing cold calls for like 20 years or whatever it was. But even still to this day, if he takes a couple weeks off or whatever, goes on vacation and comes back, even still he gets a little bit nervous before he makes those phone calls because it's the momentum stuff. So every time I make those tough phone calls, which needs to be more, I try to like bang them all out as much as I can because I got the momentum going. So that's what's when really helping me is that mindset is just to do that and just keep it going and just worry about, don't get so focused on the results get focused more on the process to get where you want to go. You know, and just keep your head down, just keep going, you know, because it's
keep going.
Like Jess was saying, she's treading water and she's like, man, this is getting so frustrating. I'm not getting any results. But it's like some of the stuff, unfortunately, just takes time, and that the process, as long as it's proven, or even if it's not proven, you're still learning from it, and you can weed out some stuff later on, connect the dots, as you would say.
Tony says,
but as long as you, go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jessica. You go ahead.
No, as long as you can, like that next day, regardless, everyone has those moments. They're treading water. They feel like they're overwhelmed. They have kids and family and business. You know, there's 1,000 things coming at them. As long as you can wake up the next morning, put a smile on your face, drink your coffee, and get back at it and put your head down, just like Ryan said, you're going to make it. You're going to get there. Just don't give up and be like, don't let the water take you down. Yeah, don't say this is too hard. Continue to fight. Regardless of what's coming at you, just keep going. Never stop.
Confidence grows from that. You know, you can hang your head on.
My last question of the evening.
Yes,
unless, Ryan, you have something you would like to go into.
Please.
Okay. What has been your favorite coaching secret based on your client success?
What has been my favorite coaching secret based on my client success? Can you ask that question in a different way?
Sure. So a successful client that you have had that has gone from, you know, their goal being making 10,000 to making 100,000. What's been like that secret ingredient in your coaching that's really taken them to that next level?
What has been my secret? You know, so one of my clients, this is actually a person that I was coaching one-on-one. And then I ended up being like, had the confidence to be like, yo, I'm increasing my prices or whatever. And I was just like, you're not a coach, but I can still help you generally, but just know I'm going in this direction. So he didn't even want to be a coach, and he still had a job at the time. He really wanted to do real estate and stuff like that, but he was kind of scared. And so he ended up actually investing in my coaching program. And the first few months or whatever, I was just teaching them personal growth and mindset stuff. But because he started being exposed to what I was doing and some of my other clients' wins, he was just like, yo, I can actually be a coach. And it's just like, he never took the coaching stuff seriously. And he figured it out. And he made like 30K out of nowhere. He just started learning real estate this year. And he was able to develop a course and pitch it because he had experience. So one of the things that's really good, and one of my high-level or inner circle coaching programs is through Bob Proctor's really understanding paradigms and really understanding how, because what Bob taught me is, what's it called? So he says, I love how I'm going to break this down. So we have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like in your head, you're just like, yo, I believe I can make 6 figures. Or for some of my clients, I want to charge 5,000. Right. And then it's just like, but I haven't done it yet. But I failed in the past. And so there's this conflict between what you want or what you know consciously. And Bob's just like, I don't care how much you learn. If you don't change what's going on subconsciously in your heart, 95% of your behavior comes from your heart and it's unconscious. So I've really developed a really good understanding of the conscious and subconscious mind. And all I have to do is make you believe you're worthy of that goal and drive it deep into your nervous system, like kind of what Tony does at our events. And now you already start behaving like you're earning 10, 30, 40, 50, or 60K a month, whatever your goal is. So you're willing to take those risks now because you know it's guaranteed. I always tell people success is a system, it never fails. So once you fully understand how you're wired, it's game over. So you can literally see thoughts, feelings, actions, results, and it's on paper now. And you can see, oh, that's why I was screwing up. And so you can literally make that adjustment. You did the Dickens process, Jessica. So it goes deep into that. And every week we're getting them to see that. And because they're aware of that for themselves, they can pinpoint it in prospects and their ideal clients, because that's all business is. Entering the conversation. Dan Kennedy says this, that's happening in your ideal client's mind, because that's the only thing that's preventing them from buying. Last thing, 3 things need to happen for people to buy from you. 1, they need to believe you can accomplish whatever you say you was going to do. 2, they need to believe that your system works. But the 3rd thing that most people forget about, they need to believe that they can do it. So it's difficult for people to believe that they can do it. But when you enter the story in their head, when you're just like, oh, you don't think you could charge premium prices because nobody around you has paid you $100,000 before or $10,000 before? Well, I used to think that too. And I realized I didn't have to sell to my family or friends or people that I know. There's this huge network of people outside my sphere of influence that have a really big problem, and they value what I have to offer more than my current friends and family members do. And I could go sell it them because they're looking for me. And I know how to have that conversation with them now. So I would say that's the best thing. That's the biggest thing. Understanding yourself enough and your limiting beliefs now and in the past, so you can really translate that to your ideal clients to be like, yo, I've been where you are. Help them develop that belief, change their story. This is what Tony does at his events, because he made me believe I could do $1 million in a year. Otherwise, I wouldn't have took the risk that I did. And therefore, now they could take committed action to accomplish that goal.
So what's next for Ben?
What is next for Ben?
Yep.
So same answer, just like, yo, Ben right now is committed to continuing to work with Tony, committed to work with Bob, continuing to work with E, and Ben is really committed to helping 100 coaches earn their first 6 figures in business, and doing that first $1 million by April, right? Just because I know it's possible when I'm committed to it.
You're gonna do it. I'm excited.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I freaking love it. How
so
can
if
you not
people
like
want
that?
to get in contact with you to do any kind of coaching, I will put it all in the description below. However, if you want to go ahead and just give a little tidbit of how people can find you, your website, have anything you want our audience to know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So again, name is Ben Bakayoko, Ben Bak Coaching. You can find me on Instagram at Ben Bak Coaching, or you can find me full name Ben Bakayoko on Facebook, or you can follow the Facebook fan page. And if you're interested in how to go from 0 to literally 600K, like how I'm teaching my clients to earn 6 figures in business, working with 10 clients or less, you could go to benbakcoaching.com, and there you'll see a free case study, and it'll literally teach you like how I'm going ahead and doing this stuff. And that's it.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Ben. We really appreciate you coming on and sharing your wisdom with us. I'm definitely going to look into getting a disc test done myself with you. You're fantastic. And I'm thankful for Tony for bringing you and I together.
No doubt. Jessica, it was a
nice to meet
pleasure. You too, Ryan. It was really cool talking to you guys today. Great questions. You guys are rock.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, guys. See you next week.
Boom.